Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nidhinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Somebody like to recollect last week's class? Would you like to summarize last week's class?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Jiva Goswami has proved that Lord's name is transcendental and non-different from him. It follows that his body is also spiritual because material objects cannot have transcendental name. The distinctive feature of Bhagwan's form is that it is manifest only through his internal potency, is self-luminous. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.4. How Brahma spoke truth how Lord spoke truth in order to purify Brahma's understanding of nature of the self while showing his form. The relationship between Lord and his body, that also seems to be non-different. Then relationship, no different than relationship between ordinary living entity and his body. Then how bhakti to Bhagwan, one can attain moksha. Bhagwan spoke to Lord Brahma, Swabhajanam. What was the Lord doing whilst giving that speech? He was showing his form, which is nature of highly condensed awareness, chit, ghanam. Discussed Avyalika with regard to Lord Brahma, Swambhuva Manu, and Kardama Muni. For Jivatma, because of his avidya, he identifies with the body. This relationship is mithya, but worshipping Bhagwan, one can attract liberation. Jiva Goswami cites Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.20 and 221 to explain the purposes behind the Lord's various forms. Sri Krishna conducts the function of creation, maintenance, and destruction of the cosmos through three guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva contact the gunas, Sri Vishnu is always transcendental to them. Then you describe what does Varna mean. So Varna is not the color, that is 10.3.20, does not refer to the bodily hue to that, but of that does not refer to the bodily hue of that particular deity, but indicates the material gunas. So Sri Vishnu is blackish. They say Sri Vishnu is blackish, Shiva is white, Brahma is golden. So there's no rule that white represents the guna of sattva and so on. And you gave the example of the crane. The crane is white in color, appears strikingly beautiful, and stands peacefully for the purpose to catch the fish. So this is actually tamoguna. We discussed this Uttapreksha Alankar also. Then Srila Vyasdev in a blackish color is accepted as transcendental sage and avatar of Lord. Then objection was discussed. Sri Krishna is black, came to kill the demons, confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.20. His color commensurate with his activities in tamas. This proposal is refuted by Vasudeva in 10.3.21, where he says that Lord appeared to offer protection to his devotees. His real purpose of appearance is that is his real purpose of appearance. And killing serves liberation to demons. So killing of the demons cannot be put in the same category as Lord Shiva, work of destruction, which is in the mode of destruction. So Sri Krishna acts should not be considered influence of guna of ignorance because of the hue or engagement of killing demons. His body is transcendental and killing is also transcendental and cannot be taken as an act under the influence of tamogun. As said earlier by Srila Shukdev Goswami, Sri Krishna is never touched by material gunas. So the text should be rephrased according to the context. And you gave example of the king, the Sendav, he says Sendav Ananya. So it regards to the horse and the salt at the dinner table. When Sattva is prominent, Lord empowers Devta. When Rajas is prominent, Lord empowers the demons. He empowers the Rakshasa when Tamo is prominent. So Krishna's black is not due to gunas, or nor the Lord is in red in Rajoguna or white in Sattoguna. So you spoke about the Parisheshya Pramana. Bhagwan's form is manifestation of Swarupa Shakti alone. Bhagwan's form is manifestation of Swarupa Shakti alone. So, and Mother Devaki speaks about how Lord's form is unmanifest and primeval. So Prabhuji, when he yourself was discussing about Brahma Vihoman Leela, when how Vishnu, he gives the sidelong glances, he awakens and fulfills the desire of the devotees and maintains their spiritual desire, as if they are in Sattva Guna and Rajo Guna. So of course, we should not understand that Vishnu's glance consist of Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. You mentioned about this Utpeksha Alankara. So in this, you mentioned about Manye, Shankhe, Dhruvam, Nunam, Praya, Eva. So I've heard about this Nunam word quite often, but how are all these words inside? I mean,
How all these words, sir?
so how does all these words come, like Manye, Shankhe, Dhruvam? Like, is it there in the
different shlokas? Like
5 words are used, right?
5, 6 words. It's not that
6 words, yeah.
Usually, when there is an Utpreksha Alankara, one of these 6 words are used. Of course, sometimes the word Nunam, it may be used without the Utpreksha Alankara also. But usually for Utpreksha Alankara, one of these 6 words are used. Eva, Manye, Dhruvam. For example, I'll tell you a shloka. The word Manye is there. Which shloka? The Paduka Sahasram. Samarpana Paddhati. In this word, the word Eva is there. Manye, Shankhe, Iva, Prayah, Dhruvam, and Nunam. These are some of the words which are used for Utpreksha Alankara. For Manye, beginning example of a shloka having a Utpreksha Alankara with the word Manye. I have to find actually. We have to find in the Shastra. In the Bhagavatam, there are many verses. The word Manye, but then it may not be that all the verses have the Utpreksha Alankara. Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse, Sarvam Etatrutam Manye, Yanmam Vadasi Keshava, Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Danava. In this shloka, the word Manye is the 10th chapter, but it is not a Utpreksha Alankara here. Sarvam Etatrutam Manye, that means I accept whatever you say to be true. And there are other verses with the word manye. Nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asan api kleshada asadeha. Rishabhadev's instruction, the word manye is there, but that is also not a utpreksha alankara. Manye means I think. Manye means I think. Tasyagam. See, here there is a utpreksha alankara. Chanchalam hi manakrishna pramati balavadridam tasyagam nigraham manye vayoriva sudushpuram. The word manye is also there, iva is also there. The 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, here there is a utpreksha alankara. Vayoriva sudushpuram. I'll have to exactly see where the word manye containing the utpreksha alankara. I'll later tell actually.
This sloka, the sarvakala kritam manye.
Sarvakala kritam manye. Vayoriva ganavalihi. So there, utpreksha alankara, maybe it is mainly by Vayoriva ganavalihi. Whether the utpreksha alankara is coming because of manye, we'll have to check that. Manye also means I think. In the same shloka, Vayoriva ganavalihi, just like the clouds are dispersed by the wind. Similarly, time actually destroys everything invisibly. So there the utpreksha alankara is there by using the word iva. It can be, and we also have to see whether the sense of the meaning comes. For example, utpreksha alankara. See, utpreksha alankara means what? There is a possibility. There is a possibility, not that it is actually there. That kind of meaning is there. See, the exact dictionary meaning I will show you. See, utpreksha alankara is a conjecture, a guess, a figure of speech which consists in supporting, which consists in supposing upameya and upamana as similar to each other in some respects, and in indicating a probability of their identity based on such a similarity. So it is the imagining of one object under the character of another object. So it is usually expressed by iva or by words like manye, shanke, dhruvam, prayaha, and nunam. An ironical comparison. So this is what utpreksha alankara. A comparison in general, a rhetorical comparison in general. That also means. So एक अलंकार जिसमें उपमान और उपमेय को कई बातों में समान समझने की कल्पना की जाती है और उस समानता के आधार पर उनके एकत्व की संभावना की ओर स्पष्ट रूप से या किसी तात्पर्यार्थ के द्वारा संकेत किया जाता है, इसी को उत्प्रेक्षा अलंकार कहते हैं. So sometimes, so in that way, manye has that sense of meaning. Manye dhruvam.
So you said manye is I think, right? So this shanke dhruvam, doubt is nunam, right? Doubt nunam is
I doubt.
So what?
Like that.
Doubt. So what is shanke then? What is shanke?
Shanke also has a similar shanka. It means doubt only, but it has a similar sense of the meaning manye.
Okay.
Say Narada Muni says that Bhavata Anudita Prayam Yasho Bhagavato Malam Yenai vaso na tushyeta manye tad darshanam kilam. Here this can be Utpreksha Alankara. Manye tad darshanam kilam. First canto, 5th chapter. So the philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. I think it is worthless. So when we see, for example, when we read Narada Muni's verses in the first canto, 5th chapter, Vyasadeva asked that what is the root cause of my dissatisfaction. So Narada Muni speaks this. He begins with the shloka. And then he also says that Jugupsitam Dharma Kritenu Shasata Swabhava Raktasya Mahan Vyatikrama Swabhava Raktasya Mahan Vyatikrama Tad Yad Vakyato. So you have actually, whatever you have done is Jugupsitam. It is condemnable. Because people in general, they have a natural inclination for sense gratification. And you have only encouraged their propensity by writing all these scriptures. Therefore, whatever you have done is condemnable, like that Narada Muni says. And then Narada Muni tells Vyasadeva to write a Srimad Bhagavatam. So usually, like many times some people, they quote the shloka and say that whatever Vyasadeva has written before Srimad Bhagavatam, they are all condemnable. They should not be read. In that way, many times people actually quote the shloka. Jugupsitam. Jugupsitam is a very heavy word actually. Whatever you have done is something to be, it's condemnable. So, Jugupsa karne ke yogya. It's something disgusting like that. So I feel like whatever Vyasadeva has written before Srimad Bhagavatam, whether it is Mahabharata, Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, all the dividing of the Vedas, this is all something disgusting. Like that is how the literal meaning comes actually. So people, I have seen people quoting the shloka to show that. So it is, one should not read Mahabharatam because Mahabharata is written by Vyasadeva before writing Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narada Muni is saying that it is disgusting, condemnable. So therefore, one should not read any scriptures written by Vyasadeva before writing Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the all in all. Like that, people quote the shloka in this sense. But actually, I asked a question to one very learned Gaudiya Vaishnava scholar about this actually. People quote this quote in this way, quote this shloka and say that one should not read Bhagavatam, one should not read any of the other books written by Vyasadeva. So people, they quote in this way. So when I ask that question, I'll read the exact reply given by a minute. One point, 5 point. So yeah. See, so by this shloka, Narada Muni is heavily condemning the works of Vyasadeva. And Narada Muni is saying that all these books you have written, it has created a disturbance. Swabhava Raktasya Mahan Vyatikrama. It has created a great disturbance because you have indirectly encouraged people in sense gratification. But the same Narada Muni who spoke this shloka, he also speaks another shloka in the 11th canto, 11.3.26, where Narada says that Shraddham Bhagavate Shastre Anindam Anyatra Chapihi. One should have faith in the scriptures which describe Bhagavata Dharma, devotional service, and one should not criticize other scriptures. So, but the same Narada Muni, so we see if we compare this shloka, Jugupsitam Dharma Kritenu Shasata, and the 11th canto shloka, Anindam Anyatra Chapihi, one should not criticize another Shastra. It appears that Narada Muni is contradicting what he said. If he is saying one should not criticize, but he himself is saying that Jugupsitam, you have performed a great condemnable act by writing these scriptures. It seems it's criticizing the other scriptures. So how do we actually understand this? It's a very beautiful explanation. So this Vaishnava said that when we read a book or hear a person, we need to understand the intention of the author or the speaker and not simply take their words at face value and misunderstand them. So what is important is what the author or the speaker is trying to convey and not what you understand it, disregarding their intention. So keeping this in mind, when we read the 5th chapter of the Bhagavatam, first canto, which is a dialogue between Narada and Vyasa, then you will see that Vyasa himself has asked Narada to find out the cause of his dissatisfaction, root cause of his dissatisfaction. Even after writing various scriptures for the welfare of the humanity. That is the Narada Vyasa's question. So Narada gives a lengthy response. And Jugupsitam verse is one of the verse in the response given by him. So from the context of the verse, what we understand that Narada's intention is not to criticize the other scriptures other than Bhagavata Purana, but inform Vyasadev about the cause of his dissatisfaction. Because that is the root question. What is the cause of his dissatisfaction? If Vyasadev had not asked this question, Narada would have had no reason to speak in this way. So therefore, the essence of this Narada's instruction to Vyasadev is that you did not. The essence of the instruction is not something like it is not that he is criticizing the other scriptures written by Vyasadev. That is not the essence. The essence of the instruction is you have not written one scripture where you have exclusively glorified Bhagavan and Ananya Bhakti. So, in order to stress the importance of pure devotion, he has to point out to Vyasadev that by writing these other books, he has neglected this fact. And that is why he is feeling dissatisfied. It is like sometimes it's like a doctor who may speak in a negative manner about sweets to a diabetic patient. So the intention of the doctor is not to criticize the sweets, is not to criticize Son Papdi and Gulab Jam, but rather the intention of the doctor is to stress to the patients to avoid eating sweets to that particular patient. So similarly, that when we see why I'm mentioning this thing is that Manyeta Darshanam Kilam. So here what Narada Muni is speaking to Vyasadev, it can be seen as the Utpreksha Alankar. It is not literally saying that whatever you have written is actually something condemnable. It's not literally. The main point is that the intention of Narada is that you have not glorified Krishna and Ananya Bhakti exclusively, and that is the root cause of your dissatisfaction. So the other scriptures written by Vyasadeva, Mahabharata and other Karma Kanda portions, they were also needed for people who don't have a Bhakti Adhikara. For elevating them gradually, these other paths are also needed. Because suppose if only the Bhagavatam is given, if the other scriptures were not given, then you will see that those who have Bhakti Adhikara are very less. And if for them, those who don't have a Bhakti Adhikara, for them, if you don't give them a gradual program of elevation, then the only thing they will take is that they will take to the path of adharma. They will take to the path of adharma. So therefore, the other scriptures are also needed for gradual elevating. Like for example, in the Sanatana Dharma, we have the demigod worship, Devata worship. If the Devata worship is not there, then people will only take to adharma. Apart from those seed of pure bhakti. So, like if we, because Devata worship is there, and they come within the house of the Vedas, and they actually they also develop faith in the Vishnu also. If when we see in any temple, any Vishnu famous Vishnu temple in India, if you make a survey, 95% of the people who come to the Vishnu temple, they are all general Devata worshippers. In South India nowadays, if you go to any Vishnu temple, all the Ayyappa people, they will come to Vishnu temple also. They will come to Vishnu temple also. But those who get converted, Christians and Muslims, they will never ever come. They will never ever come, because those who have gone to they have gone outside the house of the Vedas. But those who are within the house of the Vedas, whether it's Ayyappa worshipper, Ganesh or Kartikeya, they will all come to Vishnu temple also, and then they will gradually get eliminated. So therefore, it is not, and this gradual path is described by the other scriptures written by Vyasadeva. So the purpose of Narada is not to condemn. So whatever you have written is actually ultimately useless or disgusting. The main purpose is that you have not glorified one scripture where you have exclusively glorified Bhagavan and Shuddha Bhakti. So see, in that also here we can say in this Narada's instruction, Manyeta Darshanam Kilam. So here we can see this shloka in the light of a Utpreksha Alankara. And Bhagavatam being a kavya, one of the core aspect of kavya is the alankara, the rasa involved in that. This alankara and rasa, they are expressed through this alankaras, Utpreksha alankara and different alankaras. So there is a book called as Sahitya Darpana and Dvanyavaloka and one more book, there are one more book. These books actually, they talk about the different types of alankaras. What are the definitions of different types of alankara which are used in the kavya, and then they give instances. Sometime in the future, I have planned to study one of those courses actually. But something diversion from what we are actually reading. Anyway, we will come back to the original.
Also, Prabhuji, why, like you mentioned that why so many scriptures had to be written, because the level of understanding, etc. So even in Kali Yuga, the time is so less that we are not going to be able to read everything. So might as well read the essence of all scripture. So that was what was my understanding. Instead of reading everything, you don't really have the time. So focus on one thing that will give you the essence of all understanding.
Yeah, that is the Aneka Shastram Bahu Veditavyam Alpascha Kalam Bhagavascha Vigna Tatsara Bodham Upasitavyam. Focus on the essence that is there. But still, those who want to make a serious study of the scriptures, so there are we may not have to read Tamoguna Puranas, make a detailed study of them like that. But the point is that when you want to make a proper study, a proper sequential study of the Shastras, then there are basic program one should read. One should actually study Vyakarana, because to appreciate the scriptures in the original language. And these are usually possible when a person studies from the young age. Actually, one studies Vyakarana, which is the Pada Shastra. One should study the Nyaya Shastra, which is the Pramana Shastra, and one should study the Mimamsa, which is the Vakya Shastra. These are all Samanya Shastras, which will be helpful to study any Shastras. whether Bhagavatam or other Shastras. So these are Samanya Shastras, which are usually studied by even the Vaishnava Acharyas, which are usually present in any traditional system of Vedic education. Even before Vyakarana, one should first learn the Shiksha Shastra, how to pronounce the letters. That is the first Shastra which is taught actually, Shiksha Shastra. And then the Vyakarana Shastra, and then Pramana Shastra, Nyaya Shastra, and then there is a Mimamsa Shastra. And then because, see, our own Acharyas, they have written so many kavyas. Gopal Champu, Anandavindam Champu, Bhagavatam itself is one of the aspects of Bhagavatam is the kavya. So then if you have to understand, appreciate the kavya properly, then you have to understand what are the different alankaras used in the kavya. So then we need to have some understanding of this. That is why even our own acharyas have written what is called as a Alankara Kaustuba, Kavi Karnapur has written. So that talks about the different types of alankaras, the definition of an alankara. And then this is like a Samanya Shastra to understand the different kavyas. So therefore, one should not become very narrow-minded. Yeah, to the for a people who are say working and this thing, the time itself is less. So we focus on the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These 4 books are sufficient. At the same time, when we read Mahabharata, we can read Mahabharata through the eyes of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita concepts can be understood with the examples of the stories from the Mahabharata. And there are many people who have difficulties in the practical life also. And so for all these different aspects of the life, there are different shastras given in the Vedic Sanatana Parampara. So there is interrelation between different shastras. When we study a particular shastra, we have to understand different aspects. What are the different aspects? First is that what is the sangati, the relation between one shastra and another shastra. What is the relation between, or what is the role of different shastras? What is the relation between one shastra and another shastra? That is the first level of sangati. Then having understood the sangati between one shastra and another shastra, next is that understand the, for example, if we take Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is part of the Mahabharata. What is the relation between Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, which is within the Mahabharata? This is one level of Sangati. And then when you come within Bhagavad Gita, there is first 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters, and last 6 chapters. Then you understand the Sangati, relation between the first 6 chapters and the next 6 chapters. And the relation between the middle 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters. And then this is next level of Sangati. And then the third level of Sangati is that within the first 6 chapters, you understand the relation between first chapter and second chapter and third chapter, third and fourth. Within the 6 chapters, you understand the relation, how the one chapter is flowing from one chapter to another chapter. And then the next level of Sangati is that within that particular chapter, what are the different sections within the particular chapter, and what are the interrelation between one section and another section? What is the Sangati between one section and another section? There are different subtopics within each chapter. What is the relation between one subtopic and another subtopic? And then the next level of Sangati is that within each subtopic, there are different shlokas are there. What is the relation between one shloka and the next shloka? And this shloka and the previous shloka? How the shlokas are flowing within each subsection. And then the next level of Sangati is that within the particular shloka, what is the relation between the first half and the next half? How the shloka is flowing. Within the shloka, what is the relation between Sangati between the Purvartha and the Parartha, first half and the next half? And sometimes within the particular half the shloka also there is relation between one word and another word. Sangati is there. So when you understand all these sangatis, then we say that then the shastra becomes like a karavamalaka. It becomes like a karavamalaka. You know this phrase? This phrase comes in second canto, 5th chapter. Karavamalaka. Narada Muni is telling to Brahma that the whole universe is like a amalaki fruit within your grip. Amalaki fruit is the avla. Prabhupada translates as a walnut in the hand. Because Western people, they may not understand this avla. So Karava Malaka means basically avla in your hand. That means like everything is within your grip. So when will the Shastra come under the grip of a person? When a person understands the Sangati between one Shastra and another Shastra, and within the particular Shastra, the Sangati between the different chapters and different within the chapter, different subsections, and within the subsection, how the verses are flowing, and within the verse between the Purvartha and Parartha. When we study in this manner, then the Shastra becomes like a Karava Malaka. It becomes like a Avla in one's grip. So, why I'm mentioning this? Yeah, the point is that why I'm saying is that when a person wants to study the Shastra, there's a particular methodology of studying the Shastras. Methodology of studying the Shastras. To understand properly, therefore, the Samanya Shastras are required. Shiksha Shastra, Vyakarana Shastra, Nyaya Shastra, Pramana Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, say Alankara, when you want to read Kavyas and Alankara Shastra. Like that, these are the Chanda Shastra, when you want to recite the meters in the appropriate way, where to give the break, where not to give the break, then you need to learn the Chanda Shastra. Ras, Lagu, Guru, those things are required. And it's we like sometimes what we say is that we say that okay, oh we have less time, so we don't want to. We let us focus on the essence only. Yeah, that is a valid point. But sometimes this argument is given in order to hide one's laziness to do the hard work. In order to hide one's laziness to do the hard work. Because if we see in our own life how much we study till 10th standard, 12th standard, or graduation, post graduation, we study so much, we mug up so much. And I guarantee, practically speaking, we hardly use only few percentage, 1-2% of what we study later, in whichever occupation you may take.
Very true.
Very few, very small percentage we use actually. But whichever history or not only history, even the technical subjects which a person has studied in engineering, but ultimately he will do management, and then he will go into some job in a company. And the company, they basically, this education, the modern education, it is basically subservient to the needs of the industry. It does not make a person stand on one's leg. It makes a person dependent on the industries actually. So, but in the Vedic education, like all these Samanya Shastras, they require actually hard work because it is a austerity. We have to understand Shastric study is a Swadhyaya Tapa Arjavam. Krishna says that Swadhyaya is a tapasya because Swadhyaya is not like eating Mysore pak or Son Papdi. That every bite you feel a very juicy, some melting feeling. When you eat Son Papdi, with every bite you feel such a soothing, melting sweet is there. Shastric study or Shastric education is not like Son Papdi eating. It is a tapasya. It is more like raising of the children. Raising of the children, you know that parents know what is the tapasya involved in raising the children. But the fruit of the tapasya will come later when the children actually grow up with proper values and character, and when they contribute to the society. So at that time, the fruit of the tapasya is seen. So similarly, Shastric studies also with tapasya. The fruit of the tapasya will come later actually. And oftentimes the people, they devotees, they are lazy to perform the tapasya, going through because studying the Samanya Shastras, they require hard work, memorization is there, and all these things are there, remembering and repeated this one. And in order to avoid that hard work, often we quote, okay, we don't have time and let us just focus on the essence. But you have, uh, we had tons of time to actually mug up the crap for so many years, and all these degrees. Then, but then we don't have time for these Samanya Shastras will be useful. So basically, this we have to introspect ourselves. Is it actually because of lacking time, or we have? Yeah, there are people we can say there are many people who are in a start in a particular time of the age, and then they have less time. It's not that we have to tell them to you have to read all the Vyakarana or something. Let them read the essence, Gita, Bhagavatam. Ultimately, the essence is the chanting of the holy names, glories of Krishna. If they are connected to that, perfectly good. They can just completely get immersed. But given that those people who want to make a little more in-depth, deeper appreciation of the Shastra, then we have to learn to appreciate the Shastra in the original language, and for that we need to learn the Samanya Shastras. Like Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So today's class went in a different direction. Let us go through something on the Bhagavat Sandarbha. So this is the last section of this anuccheda. Ata prakritam anusaramaha. So let us now resume to our original discussion. So the original discussion in this anuccheda is a Gajendra shloka, 8.3.8. What is the Gajendra shloka? That न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नाम रूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्यय संभवाय स्वमायया तान् अनुकूलं गच्छति. The 47th anucheda in the beginning, every anucheda has a core shloka from the Bhagavatam. So this is the main shloka of this anucheda. Na vidyate yasya janma karma va. Bhagavan has no birth, action, name, form, virtues or vices. However, for the purpose of creating and destroying this material world, he accepts these perpetually by his internal potency. So this is the original words of this anucheda. So he says that we now resume to our original discussion. That means that particular shloka 8.3.8. And then he says Tata gunasya vailakshanyam atma ramanam api akarshana linga gamyat adbhuta rupatvam. Vailakshanyam, the distinctive feature of the Lord's attributes is that they are adbhuta. They are actually extraordinary. Extraordinary. Adbhuta means what? Adi bhuta or ati bhuta. Ati bhuta becomes adbhuta. That means transcending all that has come into being. So the distinctive feature of the Lord's attributes is that it is actually extraordinary. How do we understand? Because Atmaranam api Akarshana Linga Gamyat. Because the Lord's attributes, they attract the mind even of the liberated sages, Atma Ramas, who simply take pleasure in the self. And what is the proof for that? Tadyata Sri Sutoktau. Suta Goswami says, Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgranta Apyurukrame Kuruvantyaketukim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Guno Harihi Harerguna Kshiptamatir Bhagavan Bhadarayanihi Adyagan Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnujana Priyaha. The sages, though freed from the knot of ego, Nirgranta, Atma Ramaha, Munayaha, Nirgrantaha Api. Three words are used. Atma Ramascha, Munayaha, Nirgranta. Munayaha, the sages, Nirgranta, although they are freed from the knot of ego. Atma Rama, although they are delighting in the self alone. But Kurvanti, they engage in Ahetukim Bhaktim, causeless devotion to Sri Hari, the majestic player, Ittam Bhuta Guno Hari, who is the Urukrama. Hari, who is the Urukrama, Urukrama means who performs super extraordinary activities. Ittam Bhuta Guno Harihi. Such are the entrancing qualities of Sri Hari. And Badarayani, the Shukdev Goswami, Badarayani captivated Harer Guna Akshipta Matir, being captivated with the Lord Hari's qualities. Badarayani, Shukdeva, who is the powerful son of Vyasadeva, who is called as Bhagavan here, the powerful son of Vyasadeva, Adyagat, he studied this great book, Mahadakhyanam, Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Shukdev Goswami is Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. He is the ever beloved of the Lord's devotees. He is the ever beloved of the Lord's devotees. Adyagat, he regularly studied this great book, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and then from Vishnu Dharmottara Purana he quotes, Guna sarvepi yujyante Kaishwaryad Purushottame Dosha Katanchin Naivatra Yujyante Paramohisaha Gunadosho Mayayaiva Kechidahura Panditaha Natatra Maya Mayiva Tadiyau Taukutokhyataha Tasmanna Mayaya Sarvam Sarvamaishwarya Sambhavam Amayo Hishwaro Yasmat Tasmat Tam Paramam Viduhu. So, the Supreme Person, Gunaha Sarvepi Yujyante, Aishwaryat Purushottame. Purushottame, the Supreme Person has all the auspicious qualities. Due to the Aishwaryat, majesty inherent in his being. And Doshaha Katanchit, Naiva Atra Yujyante, he is completely devoid of any defects. And Paramohisa, therefore he is the Supreme. And Apanditaha, some people, Guna Dosho Mayaya Eva, who are unacquainted with the spiritual truth, they say that because of Maya, the Bhagavan has good qualities and defects. But na tatra Maya Mayiva Tadiyav Tau Putokyata. But if neither Maya nor the wilders of illusion are present in him, how can he be affected by them? Putohyataha. Tasmat, therefore, his qualities, form and so on, Sarvam Aishwarya Sambhavam, they do not spring from Maya. Na Mayaya Sarvam. Therefore, they do not spring from Maya, but Sarvam Aishwarya Sambhava, they spring from his own magnificence. And Amayo Kishwaro, because the Lord is free from Maya, yes, he is said to be transcendental and supreme, Paramam Viduhu. So, the Jiva Goswami is continuing the theme, how the Bhagavan has transcendental qualities, therefore the Atma Ramas are attracted to him, and also he quotes this Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, how the Bhagavan does not have touch with the, he is not affected by Maya, he is free from Maya. Then, so now coming back to the Gajendra's prayer, 838. Ata na vidyate ityasya prakrita shlokasya vyakya avasheshaha. So in that shloka, na vidyate yasya janma karmava. In that shloka, there is some vyakya given by Sridhar Swami is remaining. Let us see that vyakya, he says. So we might have forgotten what is the primary shloka of this anuccheda, because we started this discussion on the anuccheda a little long back, few months back. But the acharyas, when they are writing, there is a particular flow of the thought process. That is what I mentioned, sangati. Reading a scripture means understanding the sangati between one section and another section, between one subtopic and another subtopic, between one shloka and another this one. So, because there is a particular thought process is flowing, so again he is saying that let us come back to the remaining vyakya of this particular shloka. And then he says, Tadevam Swarupa Shakti Vilasa Rupatvena Tesham Janmadina Prakritat Vailakshanyam Saditam. So we have already shown Saditam, that the Lord's birth, Janma Adinam, Lord's birth, form, and so on, they are manifestations of the Lord's internal potency. Swarupa Shakti Vilasa Rupatvena. And therefore, Lord's birth, activities, form, etc., they are all distinct from their material counterparts. Prakritad Vailakshanyam. They are distinct, Vailakshanyam. How they are distinct from the Prakrita, from the material counterpart, which we have already shown. And then he says, Tatra Ashankate. Now there is a doubt. He is raising a objection here. Yeah, doubt may be raised. What is the doubt? Nanu bhavantu swaswarupa bhutanyeva tani tathapi swarupa rupasyaiva purnatvad tattat praptau kim prayojana. Even if we accept that features such as the Lord's birth and form are manifestations of his essential nature, Swaswarupa Bhutanyeva, even if we accept the Lord's birth and form are manifestations of his essential nature, but Swarupasya Eva Purnatva. But because the Lord's Swarupa is complete, then Tattat Praptau Kim Prayojana. So what is the need for Bhagavan to accept them? So even though we have shown that Lord's birth and form, etc., they are manifestations of his internal potency. And since his Swarupa is complete, what is the need for the Bhagavan to accept them? Tattat praptau kim prayojan. What need is there of the Bhagavan to accept them? Because why is raising this shloka? Why is raising this question? Because when you come to the Gajendra shloka, that 8.3.8, what was said? Na vidyate yasya cha janma karmava nanama rupe gunadosha eva. Bhagavan, the first line says that Bhagavan does not have birth, action, name, form, etc. But still, lokapya sambhavaya swamayaya tan anukulam richati. But still, for the purpose of creation, destruction, and maintenance, he accepts them perpetually. Anukulam richati. He accepts them. But if he is purna, if he is complete, then what is the purpose of him to accept these things? Okay, I agree that Lord's name, qualities, form, etc., they are all spiritual. But then if he is complete in himself, what is the need for him to accept these things? Tatra aha lokapyaya sambhavaya loko bhaktajanas tasya apyayah samsara dvamsa tat purvakah sambhavo bhakti sukha praptihi. So the word lokapyaya sambhavaya. So the meaning is that the Lord accepts the name, form, qualities, etc. for the purpose of lokapyaya sambhavaya, for the purpose of creation and destroying this material world. But this lokapyaya sambhavaya, this is interpreted in another way over here. The word loka here, another way of meaning of this word loka is that bhakta janaha, bhakta jana, the devotees. Bhakta janas tasya apyayah. Tasya apyaya means for the purpose of the word loka here refers to devotees. Apyaya means in order to destroy the material existence of the devotees. Apyaya. And then coinciding with this destruction of the material existence of the devotees is the sambhava, the appearance of the bliss of devotion of the devotees. So the Lord, in order to destroy the material existence of the devotees and in order to bestow the bliss of devotion to the devotees, Bhagavan actually accepts the name, form, qualities, and then performs the different pastimes. So the word, the verbal root bhu dhatu here means to attain. Bhu dhatu here means bhu praptau tadartham. It means attain. So that means the Lord is, the further implication is that, however, is that the Lord is ever endowed with a name and form simply to increase the devotional bliss of his eternally liberated associates. Etadapi upalakshanam nitya parshadhanam api bhakti sukotkarshartam taduktam Srimad Arjunena Pratame. So the Lord Bhagavan, although he is Purna, he is complete, but he accepts the name, form, qualities, etc. in order to in order to destroy the material existence of the devotees and in order to bestow the bhakti sukha, devotional bliss upon his devotees. So here devotees means sadhana siddhas. But in the case of the Nitya siddhas, the Lord accepts the name, form, qualities, etc. simply to increase the devotional bliss of his eternally liberated associates. And for the pure devotees here, in order to destroy their material existence and in order to bestow the bliss upon them, although the Lord is complete in himself, but he accepts the name, form, qualities, pastimes, etc. So this is also confirmed in the first canto. Tatayam chavataraste bhuvo bharajihirshaya swanam chananya bhavanam anudhyanaya chasakrit. So this verse was spoken by Arjuna when Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra. Arjuna says that you descend avataraste in order to remove the bharajihirshaya, bhuvo bharajihirshaya, in order to remove the burden of the world. And then one more reason, you descend in order to swanam cha ananya bhavanam anudhyanaya chasakrit, in order to inspire the anudhyanaya asakrit, unbroken meditation of your associates and those devotees who exist only for you. In order to inspire the unbroken meditation of your associates and those devotees who exist only for you. So in this verse is quoted by Jiva Goswami to show that Bhagavan appears, although he is Purna, is complete, but still in order to inspire the unbroken meditation of the devotees, the Ananya devotees, the pure devotees, who exist in this world only for Krishna's service. So Asya Arthaha, the meaning of the shloka. Yata Anye Purushadayo Avataras तथायं च अवतारः साक्षात् भगवतः श्रीकृष्णात्यस्य तव एव प्राकट्यं परमभक्ताया भुवो भारजिगीर्षया जातोऽपि अन्येषां स्वानां भक्तानाम् असकृत् च मुहुर् अपि अनुध्यानाय निज भजन सौख्याय भवति. So just as there are other avatars like the Purusha avatars, so similarly Krishna is also an avatar. In other words, this is an appearance made by Krishna, who are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Sakshat Bhagavatah Sri Krishna Kyasya. So just like there are other avatars, similarly Krishna is also an avatar. But Krishna is exhibiting himself as an avatar, it is only an appearance. Because Krishna is not just a avatar, Krishna is not just an avatari, he is the source of the avatari. Avatari means the source of the avatars. Mahavishnu is the source of the avatars. And the source of Mahavishnu is Krishna. But Krishna also makes it as an appearance as if he is also like an avatar. That is why in the first canto, third chapter, 22nd shloka, Krishna is listed among the avatars. But in the 28th shloka, Krishna is described as Krishna Su Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Swayam Bhagavan. And so even though you have appeared in order to relieve the burden of the earth, even though Bhagavan has appeared in order to relieve the burden of the earth, Bhara Jihirshaya Jata Api, on that earth is also Krishna as a pure devotee. But still, the Bhagavan appears in order to grant his other devotees asakritya muhurapi anudhyanaya, in order to grant his other devotees the bliss of engaging in his worship through constant meditation. Through constant meditation, the Lord appears in order to bestow this bliss of engaging in worship through constant meditation. So, Nanu Tarhi. So, base 1240, some more. So then one more further doubt is raised. Whenever the word Nanu comes, Nanu also, it means that there is a doubt is raised. Nanu tarhi bhakta saukyameva prayojanam jatamiti purnanandasya tasya iha prayojanamati kutah ityetat katam upapadyeta. So in the earlier part of the Anucheda, the 47.2, in the earlier part of the Anucheda, it was rhetorically asked, Purnanandasya tasyeha prayojanam atikurutah. Since the Lord is Purnananda, completely blissful, what does he gain by creating this world? Tasya iha prayojanam atikurutah. This race was, since he is completely blissful, what does he gain by creating this world? So how can this statement be true? If the Lord has a particular purpose, because the Lord is having a particular purpose in order to increase the bliss of his devotees, or in order to inspire in his devotees, in order to inspire in his Shuddha Bhaktas, how to meditate upon him constantly. But previously it was said that because Bhagavan is supreme bliss personified, so therefore what has he to gain by creating this world? So there's a contradiction here. Therefore, this contradiction is actually raised here. How can this statement be true if the Lord does have a particular purpose, namely to grant a devotional bliss to his devotees? Tatra aha. The reply is given. Ananya bhavana iti. Anyata sarvagya shiromaner nirdoshasya tasya tanmatra apekshakana tesham upekshayam akarunya dosha prayujyeta iti bhavaha. So here it is mentioned that ananya bhavana miti. In answer to this verse, it is said that the Bhagavan does so for the sake of those devotees who exist only for him. Ananya bhavana miti. Those devotees who are existing only for him, Bhagavan does like this. The implication is that although the Bhagavan, who is the Sarvagya Shiromani, who is the crest jewel of the omniscience, and Nirdosha Shiromani, who is faultless, the faultless, the Sarvagya Shiromani Bhagavan, he would be guilty of the fault of unmercifulness if he neglected his devotees who are exclusively dependent on him. So there are so many Ananya Bhaktas in this world who are exclusively dependent on Krishna. If Krishna neglects those devotees, for himself he is Purnananda, he is Purna, he is completely blissful. But if he neglects his Ananya Bhaktas who are suffering in this world, then the Bhagavan would be accused of mercilessness or unmercifulness. So therefore, the Bhagavan, in order to Ananya Bhavana, in order to inspire or in order to bestow bliss upon his Ananya Bhaktas, Bhagavan appears as an avatar. Along with that, he also removes the burden of the earth. So like that, it is explained. And I thought of actually completing this anuccheda. More is there actually. We will take it up next week. Anybody has any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, you can record whatever you wanted to complete, so we'll hear whenever you have time. You can finish it. And in the course of your lectures, if you can even explain to us this word Dravida, because Arya, we know what it is. Like Parishit Maharaj said, he's acting on Arya, So later on, I mean, in the course of your lectures, if it comes in.
Achha. Dravida actually refers to the Dravida Desha. Arya is basically one who knows the purpose of life. That is how the Arya is defined. It is not defined in terms of a particular place, like a North India. And the Dravidian parties, they say Ram is from North India. He's a Arya. Ravana is a Dravida. And they say Ram is a god for the North Indians. Although Ram says that Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya. Krishna says, I am the father of all living entities. But the Dravidian parties say that Ram or Krishna, they are for the North Indians. Only Kartikeya is the god for the South Indians. So the word Arya is defined in terms of the quality, culture, how they are following the Vedic culture. Dravida is basically the particular region. There is a Dravida Desha. For the exact definition, you will see. But it is referring to the particular region in South India, Dravida Desha. Karnataka, this Tamil Nadu, these Pradeshas. We will find the exact definition given in the dictionary. Sure. So maybe we will continue next week only because maybe it may take another 20 minutes or more to complete this anuccheda. We'll see that next week. If anybody has any other points, we can share. Otherwise, we'll end the class.
Actually, Prabhuji, all the slokas, I mean, the purport or the translation of the slokas convey the same meaning in a different angle. The context is same, the meaning is same, the understanding is same, but different words are put, different angles are shown. That is only to emphasize the point or only to increase the pleasure of the reader. What does that Jiva Goswami trying to?
No, we have to actually that's like minutely read. In every anucheda, there's a particular thought process is going on. Whatever the different possible objections, the Purva Paksha, which are given by the opposite party, in accepting the fact that Bhagavan's name, form, qualities, pastimes are eternal. They are actually coming from the Swarupa Shakti beyond the three gunas. Because this point is only addressed from different angles, with different references. When we chant Prabhupada's Pranati mantra, we say Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarne. Nirvishesha. Prabhupada went to destroy the Nirvishesha Vada. So those who are the say Advaitavadis or this one, they don't accept the Visheshanas of the absolute truth. They say the Visheshanas of the absolute truth are Maya, are made of Maya. They don't give regard to the Visheshanas of the absolute truth. So, but Jiva Goswami is proving through his different verses from the Bhagavatam how the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan are actually real, but they are spiritual. They are not illusory. So he is taking every aspect of Bhagavan. And just like I mentioned, we are constructing a terrace of a building. We ensure that there is not even a single hole in the terrace. Like the perfect building, perfect terrace is that even if there is one particular part of the terrace is leaking, then the building is incomplete. You have to ensure that not even a single part of the building is leaking. Actually, that is how you make the perfect building. Similarly, Jiva Goswami is building his arguments that not even the hole in the terrace is like the Purva Paksha argument, which does not accept the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan. So every possible Purva Paksha argument he is taking and then he is trying to disprove that based on the Bhagavatam and other scriptures. And one more thing I wanted to mention. So, what was your question, you said? What was your question?
No. Prabhuji, I got this point. I just wanted to add. He could have, he added rather too much of reinforcement in the terrace and ensure that 500% not to, at least in another 5 millions of years, no leakage or anything, in your words only. So
that is how
I just wanted to know, yeah, it's also increasing the readers the interest. So like it's not required so much, but still he is giving it. He could have done it with 2 or 3 references and he could have closed and the entire terrace would have been sealed. But still he is giving more and more as far as possible. It is there as far as knowledge goes, as far as his what you can say that prowess in the Shastra goes, he is giving everything.
It might appear it is too repetitive, but actually we have to go, we have to study even more deeply to understand that, because generally when the acharyas write, they may not repeat unnecessarily actually, but that is also not that's not the sign of a scholarship. They will not keep writing the same thing again and again. It appears repetitive from a layman's point of view. So you could have just mentioned 2-3 shlokas. But when we go deep, actually, it's not that it's repetitive. Every anucheda, when he's quoting something, there is some additional information, additional insight, additional thing is coming up with. So that we have to carefully study. Many times we may not realize in the first reading, second reading, third reading, fourth reading. Like that, we will be able to appreciate in every this one better. So that is what the Stuna Nikanna Nyaya. Stuna Nikanna Nyaya, every possible leakage or every possible objection is completely refused. Even in the he takes the same approach in all the sandarbhas. That's a very thorough presentation of the subject matter, leaving no room for any refutation. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Yeah, one more thing what I wanted to say was that I forgot. See, in the Nirvisheshavada, they don't accept the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan. So there is when we see the followers of Shankaracharya,
They don't accept the Visheshan of?
Visheshanas of the Bhagavan. Visheshanas means name, qualities, pastimes, abodes. All these are made of Maya. So they don't accept the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan. So this particular aspect, this Nirvisheshavad, how the Bhagavan's name, form, qualities, passion, all these are actually transcendental. They are real. So this is actually thoroughly established in this Sampradaya, in this particular Bhagavat Sandarbha. So when we talk about the Advaitavada, so there are two aspects. On the one hand, Shankaracharya, the followers of Shankaracharya, they actually brought back the Vedic authority. They brought back the Vedic authority. On the one hand, this is a great contribution they did. But on another hand, he gave such an interpretation of the Vedanta Sutra by removing the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan. So you see, same personality protected Krishna, and also another way he is also attacking Krishna. Of course, Shankaracharya is Acharya. He did it under the order of the Lord. There is no fault in the Acharya. Saying the Advaitavada follower, Prabhupada says in different places, in the Nectar of Devotion, when he discusses about the Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, he quotes the verse from the personified Vedas prayers. In that he says that the demons and the impersonalists or the Advaitavadis are the same platform, because the demons, they directly attack the body of Krishna with the weapons. But the Nirvisheshavadis, by giving an interpretation of the Shastras, by removing the Visheshanas of the Bhagavan, by giving such an interpretation, they attack the body of the Bhagavan. In that sense, their activity resembles the activity of the demons. Therefore, they both attain the same destination. So this is an example. Sometimes maybe we have to think of some material example, which is we have to think. Same person, he is protecting something, and the very same person is also attacking the very object. Suppose a person is there, he is protecting one object, but he is also attacking that object in another way. That is what the Advaitavadis did. The Shankaracharya, he protected Krishna by bringing back the Vedic authority, because only through the Vedas we can understand the absolute truth. In that sense, he protected Krishna. But at the same time, they also attacked Krishna by giving this Nirvisheshavad or Advaitavad or Mayavad. So therefore, when we see Shankaracharya, when we read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dealing with the Advaitavadis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave great respect to Prakashanand Saraswati and his followers, to Sarvam Bhattacharya, because they did a great contribution of accepting the Vedic authority, protecting the Vedic authority. At the same time, same Mahaprabhu said that Mayavada Bhashya Shunila Hoye Sarvanas. He also said that your explanations of the Vedanta Sutra is like clouds which cover the real meaning of the Vedanta Sutra. So he also objected the Nirvisheshavada explanation. So therefore, just like Krishna punished Bhishma because he failed to give protection to Draupadi when she needed at the most important time. Krishna punished Bhishma publicly. At the same time, Krishna also showed great mercy to Bhishma. The very Krishna who punished Bhishma openly, with the very Krishna made Bhishma glorious for all time to come as the greatest Mahajana, declared him as the greatest Mahajana after the Mahabharata one. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respected the followers of Shankaracharya for their contribution to protect the Vedic authority. In that way, they protected Krishna. And the very Mahaprabhu also objected, criticized the Mayavada, because through that interpretation, they are attacking the person Krishna by removing the Visheshanas of Krishna. Are you understanding?
So it's Shankaracharya gave the right principle. It's his followers misinterpreted the whole thing, or
No,
Shankaracharya
Shankaracharya
himself
on the
did.
order of the Lord. On the order of the Lord, he was
Okay,
found
yeah, that I
against.
understood.
Uh,
Yeah, but then that all that misinterpretation and giving those wrong principles, the doctrines of Advaitwad, his followers did that manipulation, or
no, it was
it was
started by
there itself,
Shankaracharya.
like because he wrote.
Shankaracharya gave that, and his followers, Prabhupada, one place, third canto, fourth chapter, what he says is that his followers, they became stubborn. Shankaracharya, at a certain point, he also said that Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Mudamate. Just worship Govinda. Give up all this word jugglery. He mentioned that. But his followers, they remained stubbornly attached to what Shankaracharya spoke before, and they neglected this final instruction. Shankaracharya, although he interpreted the Vedanta Sutra, but Shankaracharya did not touch upon the Bhagavatam. He did not touch upon the Bhagavatam. But the followers of Shankaracharya, they made even greater mistake by interpreting the verses of the Bhagavatam with the Advaitavada spirit, with the Advaitavada Tattva. And that is the greater mistake of the followers of Shankaracharya. So, Hare Krishna. Okay.
Prabhuji, Shyam Mukunda Das has sent a message in WhatsApp, this one, chat.
Yeah, chat. At that time, worshippers of Shiva and Durga used to debate also, so might be for that also so much references are given. Possible. Okay. So we'll end here. Thank you very much for your patient attention. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय,
जय
गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.
जय.